Oh, we live. Welcome to NFL Prop Picks powered by the Blitz. I'm Josh Ingles. He's Derek Carty, the mind behind the numbers, and the mind behind the solid 9-2 week 10. That was a ripper. Thursday, somehow 5 plays got out there, an indoor game, 5-0 Thursday night. Sunday, another big day. I believe it went 4-0 on the entire Sunday card over the 2 primetime games. Kyron Williams, and then we got bothered by that, the Stafford carry that was a phantom carry that was...
Yeah, that's nonsense.
That was nonsense, but those who watched last week entailed the plays. We're rewarded. So let's get going today. Hit that like button. That's your job. Hit that like button, comment, subscribe. Do the business. Do the business. And we got a couple rushing props to get going today. Week 11, Thursday Night Football, Washington, Philadelphia. Philadelphia minus 3.5. That's where it's settling now, 48.5 total. Jaden Daniels not running as much. Noah Brown leading the way in opportunities for the receivers in Washington. Routes, snaps. Brian Robinson still questionable. That looks like a different offense without him. Austin Eckler probably isn't your best early down running back for a team that was the best running team in all of football. He's a great third down back, that's for sure. But then on the Philly side, we haven't really seen much of what they are, and I think a lot of that's being priced into the props this week. Last week, they ended basically the Cowboys season. They didn't have to play the starters in the fourth quarter. The week before that, I think they were up double digits versus Jacksonville late. So we'll see where those numbers are because there has been some moves. So we start things off, Derek. Bet 365. That's where we are here. There are some numbers a little smaller, so hopefully at your book, let us know in the live chat where you're seeing this total. We're going to go rushing props, and we're going to go carries. And this is a play. Carrie drinking coffee at 2 p.m. Oh, sorry, producer Mick throwing it right at me. Jalen Hurts, under 10.5 carries, minus 125. He's got somewhere to be today. Let's go. That's a full play. Jalen, I think it's pretty incredible. These are your plays, Derek, and I just go find information to suit them, which is always a fun task. 7 rushing touchdowns over his last 4 games, and it's funny how it always works out, right? I don't usually have to look too hard. 7 rushing TDs over his last 4 games. That's a lot of rushing. That's a lot of rushing touchdowns. Sounds like a lot of carrying opportunity, but he's 1-3 on this number over those 4 games. I mean, kneel down equity is involved here in the 3.5, but this is closed at 9.5 in 5 straight weeks, and there are some 9.5s out there.
Yeah, there's a few books at 9.5. The 10.5, I imagine, is going to come down across the board. For now, a few books have it. We'll take it. He's gone under this number in 5 of his games this year, only gone over it in 4. The Blitz is projecting about 8. There's also the narrative angle you can kind of play if you want. Last week, the weird press conference thing with Nick Sirianni where Jalen Hurts Jalen Hurts didn't practice, and then he was listed as like not practicing because of rest. And then Sirianni kind of slipped up and said that he was dealing with an ankle injury. Came out last week. He ran a little bit, but didn't run quite as much as usual. And even his normal, again, he's gone under this more often than not. So I like this, especially if we do not get any kneel downs. That would be great. Jalen Hurts can always just rip off 15 runs because he's Jalen Hurts, but I think at 10.5, this number is a little too high.
10.5 is a very big number. Curtis Victor saying MGM minus 130. Flip minus 140, ESPN minus 140. Yeah, those will likely come down. Do you have like a buy point maybe where you'd rather take the 9.5 on the turning point from 10.5 to 9.5? Are you buying minus 140 or are you getting 9.5 at even money?
If you get 9.5 even money, hold on, let me look real quick.
You're gonna wing it.
If you get 9.5 even money, you're probably something similar to this. I think like if this 10.5 starts dropping minus 150, minus 160, minus 170, you want the 9.5 even money. Although the books that have 9.5s right now, Caesars, FanDuel, Rivers, it's between like minus 125 and minus 130. So I definitely don't like that as much as these 10.5s.
full carries. So even the minus 130s, maybe even the minus 140s are still buys at this point. And it's the same thing that happens. It's a reason. This is the reason, chat, why we are doing this live, because you go look at it. It's frustrating to re-promote the bat and the blitz picks like before the game, because you're like, here you go, here's tonight's plays, and they're like, I can't get any of these.
Nowhere to be found anywhere.
Yeah, it's so funny to like try to do it, and you're like, here you go, here are numbers that don't exist, but that's it. Like this 10.5 will be gone. This is not just a fire sale thing here trying to promote it. It won't be there. It's close to 9.5 in 5 straight weeks. Better have bourbon in that tea, Carty. Come on now. It does not look like an afternoon bourbon drinker. You stop it right there. Let's keep it rolling. Same book. Little less confidence in this play, but a lean here in another rushing prop. So head over there, head to rushing markets. And to be fair, I mean, Saquon hasn't had to have like a fourth quarter carry in like 2 games. So this is a rested running back. Might be a short week, but considering he had so much time off in Dallas, he'll be ready to go for a full workload.
Yeah.
All right, let's go. Another Philly runner. Kenneth Gainwell. What do you want with Kenneth Gainwell? Oh, no. Is it 12?
I moved a little, but it's still fine.
12's good. Well, okay. We had 13.5. It's down to 12.5. Seen it there. 12 minus 105. We were looking at the minus 110. And that's where, off the top of the show, Derek, I was talking about, I think the numbers are kind of skewed if you're just box score checking, because Kenneth Gainwell's getting closeout reps because they're up so much. Like a lot of his work is in the fourth quarter. You go look at the snap share. Go look at Saquon's snap share. 32 snaps last week, averages 47. Take a break, Saquon. Here comes Kenneth Gainwell. And, oh, jeepers. Come on, Josh. Who's the third back in that equation? Oh, a name Shipley. I don't know. Who is it?
Will Shipley.
Yes, sorry, yes. There it is. There's the other one. So he was mop up duty as well. It's the B bullpen basically. So 13.5, 12.5, all great numbers. Like I said, we're up 22-0 versus Jacksonville in week 9 and whacked Dallas 34-6. What do you got for this? And this guy didn't even have a market 3 weeks ago. And it was, where was this market? Close to 12.5 last week, was 8.5 the week before, and then the week before that didn't have a market.
Yeah, I hit him, I think last week, maybe the week before too. This one is good for basically the angle that you mentioned, where if Philly blows them out, he'll probably go over it in garbage time. He's gone over this number 4 times this year, but he's only gone over it once in a game that was not a complete blowout. And even in that game, he only got 3 carries. He just broke off a long run. So really, this is a game where they're playing a pretty good team. The spread is only 3.5. Presumably, this should be close enough where we're not getting those Gainwell, garbage time carries in the fourth quarter. And if we don't, this stands a really good chance of hitting.
And one thing you'll notice when Derek talks about these spots where you don't get that from a lot of other people telling you what to bet on, in those sentences, it wasn't like Washington has the number 3 EPA per play rush defense. Because, you said, like, defenses are great. I get it, but it is a more noisy stat, especially matchup to matchup.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty noisy. It's not like the mark is necessarily ignoring it anyway. Like, it's kind of...
Oh, it's always priced in. Yeah.
Priced into the lines a little bit anyway. When you're betting, you want to find things that are not priced in. And a lot of times books are setting lines just kind of based on averages. And if you look at Kenneth Gainwell's average... this looks like a reasonable number for him. Like he's averaging 17 yards per game this year. So 12.5. Oh man, maybe we need to hit the over, but no, like look at the context of how it happens and look at the context of what this game should be. And that's a much better way to do it.
JPC the fourth, always there. Always appreciate it. Asking, is Boston Scott alive? Now, do you remember what game was that? Was that a playoff game? What was
I think it was a Super Bowl, maybe.
Was it the Super Bowl? Yes, where everyone's like, going to be a big Boston Scott game. That was one of your stauncher stances, I believe.
Oh no, it was against the Giants because he had such great career numbers against the Giants.
Oh, that's yes. Sorry, yes.
He bet his anytime touchdown, which should have been priced at like 20-1, down to like 2-1 or something like that. It was so dumb.
Yeah, literally the market just changed the number just from a ton of people betting his anytime TD, and you're like, he's not even getting red zone carries. He's not getting carries alone, let alone anything near the goal line. Oh, Boston Scott, that was last year. Thank you for reminding me, Caleb. Everybody there in the chat, one less carry and some juice. John Metler, thank you for being in the chat. And that's it. Thursday, let's see if we can replicate the same thing that we had last Thursday night in Week 10 with a 5-0 week. But as always, tail the covers on X because, I mean, I think we only released the 2 plays last week for Thursday Night Football, and then it was like, my chat was like, got another one to add, guys. It's showing extreme value. Got another one to add. And they're my favorites, right? Like those are the wide receiver 4, under 1.5 catches at plus 150. Like there's some really good gems because I think I say it every time. The books are afraid to put out the plays with the higher variance, which they are.
Yeah. So as stuff starts to open up, there's not a ton of markets open for this game yet. We definitely might find some stuff. Like Dotson's been showing value some weeks. I don't think he has any markets out yet. So we'll have to see. But there definitely might be some social plays.
There's also no rushing. I don't think there's any rushing markets for Washington.
Oh yeah, because Brian Robinson, we don't know his deal yet. Yeah. So yeah, there's still uncertainty here.
Nice. And don't even think about Rodriguez. I believe he's mop up. He's fourth quarter guy as well. It'd be interesting. Hopefully Brian Robinson comes in. We get a good Thursday night game, but let's leave it at that. The play, Jalen Hurts under 10.5 carries, minus 125. And then the lean, Kenneth Gainwell under 13.5 rushing yards, 12.5 rushing yards, minus 105. That's what's in the book. Hopefully some more plays coming out, but if not, that's it. Look for more primetime stuff coming out Friday for the Sunday night football game, Monday night football game, and we are done overseas. Finally, we'll leave it at that. I'm Josh Ingles. He's Derek Carty. This is NFL Prop Picks powered by the Blitz. Thank you to the chat. Always be there. We'll see you back here Friday, 2:15 p.m. Eastern time. Let's go.